Welcome to the first episode of Backstage with the Band. I'm your host, Lian Smit, and alongside me is host Craig Thomas.
What's up?
It's good to have you, man.
Yeah, always good to be here. I'm excited about the show, Lian.
Yes.
So why don't you start and tell the listeners more about what we're doing and why we're here?
Fantastic. So, listeners, Backstage with the Band is a podcast for music lovers, people that find value in lyrics, people who can't resist listening to that one song. I mean, people who go to music festivals, just music enthusiasts, people like me. So, yeah, I'm really glad that we can share this love for music with you guys, the listeners. And I think it's going to be a lot of fun, Craig. We're going to have a ton of guests, famous ones, upcoming ones, some of you guys, the listeners. Let's see Backstage as a Band as your weekly dosage of music news.
Yeah, music news. I mean, there's actually a bunch of stuff we're going to do. I think a big part of this is also to bring a little bit more exposure to some of the amazing local talent we've got, right?
Yes.
I mean, I think back in the day, and sound really old now, but back in the day, there was this big movement of, local bands just hitting it big, and bands such as Sarin Gas, which we know as Seether today, or, Watershed and Just Ginger. I mean, those are all great South African talents. And I think there's so much more talent in this country that the world's just not getting to see. And I'm hoping that
definitely
we'll be able to put some light on that. So, Lian, tell us, what's up? What are we talking about today?
Okay, so today, just to give the listeners a bit of background on who we are and what we do and where our love for music comes from and like who inspires us the most. So, Craig, I think let's begin with you. I just want to hear who your inspiration is and where it all started for you.
Oh, well, I think musically, I've always been musically inclined since I was 5-6 years old. My parents decided to send me for piano lessons. I wasn't getting my ass kicked enough at school, and and I mean, I just took to music like a duck to water. I mean, I could read music by the time I was 8.
Wow.
The piano wasn't really my love. I mean, guitar was always where it was at for me. And the thing is, I really grew up in the time of ABBA, let me put it this way, ABBA wasn't even a band anymore. They'd already broken up, but I mean, my family listened to their music. But there was one musician that stood out above all else, and that was Johnny Cash. And I wanted to be the next Johnny Cash. I wanted to, I learned to play all his songs. Johnny Cash for me is just an absolute inspiration because, like all of us, his life was not, perfect. He went through a really, really hard time. He struggled with drugs, but I mean, his music spoke his soul. And I think that's one of the things that's lacking in music today. People write pop music just to write pop music. Where is the message anymore? I mean, I think 50 years from now, people are still going to know who Johnny Cash is or who Aerosmith was or who the Rolling Stones were. I nothing against pop music, but I just don't think that's going to be the same case for it. I as good as Taylor Swift is, and nothing against Taylor, I just don't think she's going to have that same effect.
I agree with you. And Johnny Cash, like his music, it ranged from country music. He started with country music, went to rock and roll, blues, folk, gospel. I think his whole career started as doing gospel songs, it's amazing, and he's got so much talent and such a broad spectrum of things that he could perform, and the thing is that really stood out to me is his prison concerts, like in the 1950s. I think that's amazing.
I think the recording for Folsom Prison Blues was actually recorded in Folsom.
In a prison. Yeah.
It's mind blowing. I mean, and right up to the end. I mean, June passed away. That's Johnny Cash's love, and she was always his love. Even loved his life. And when she passed away, it wasn't long after that he passed away. But I mean, even his very last song, which was "Hurt," I mean, the way he performed it was. I mean, it was emotional. I mean, I was emotional when Johnny Cash passed away. I was like, felt like I was losing a grandpa,
Yeah, it's a big deal.
Yeah, it was a big deal. And you, Lian, who were your musical inspirations?
Well, my musical inspirations came from also a very young age. I think from grade 3, I was forced to be in the choir, and I think a lot of people were forced. So that's basically where it started with guitar lessons as well. But that ended very soon. Like I didn't have any passion, and I blame the teachers. But there was just no passion in singing, and there was no explanation of the real message behind what you are playing and what you are singing. And yeah, basically everything really started for me in grade 6. That's where I got into my rock and roll phase. I was asked to play the Prince in one of our school plays. It was Beauty and the Beast. And I was very excited because I got to act with the prettiest girl in our school. She was grade 7, so I thought I had innings. She's older. But at first it was just acting, and I got bored from just acting. And for some reason, I suggested that we do a duo, and I don't know why I did that. It put a lot of stress on me, but I was trying to impress this girl. And I think, like a week went by and I couldn't find anything to sing. And one of the coordinators came to me and said that I'll be singing I Do It For You by Bryan Adams. He was my breakthrough artist, if I can say it like that. I mean, from that day on, I bought myself all of his CDs, and that's where I completely fell in love with rock music. And obviously from then on, it was Bon Jovi and Guns N' Roses, and then it changed genres from rock to rap and country music. Yeah, it's been a wild ride since that day, but I'm grateful for it. It's amazing. And yeah, my all-time favorite must be Robert Plant, man. He is the most charismatic front man I've ever seen. He's got long blonde hair and powerful guy, and his range is what astonishes me like the most. He's got a high range with like a lot of distortion and this loud volume, and also like a lot of emotion. It's just amazing.
There's heart in every song. Yeah, that's just the thing. I mean, I was saying to some friends the other day, we were having a chat, and I said, you know what, 100 years from now, when Thunderstruck plays, there's going to be a 13-year-old out there who's going to say AC/DC.
Yeah.
And it's just the truth. That's just the way it is, I mean,
it's true, man.
It's that kind of music. And currently, I mean, music has taken a knock, I mean, this pandemic has wreaked havoc on, the way we live and the social economics of the world, and even in our country in South Africa. I mean, tell us a bit more about what I mean. I know you did some research on the impact of the, this on the COVID on the music industry. I mean, it's not looking good.
It's really not looking good. Like if we look at it internationally, like the places in the UK, the recording studios, everything is closed down. I don't know if you know this, but Abbey Road Studios, they were open during the Second World War. It just shows you how extreme this circumstances is that we are currently facing. I mean, that recording studio is the birthplace of a lot of stars today. Radiohead, Amy Winehouse, Adele, even Ed Sheeran, they've all recorded there. And I think they've got a lot of big reserve funds to pay the wages and keep the business running. But I think we need to bring it back to where it actually matters the most: the local artists, and the people they depend on, the pubs, the bars, the restaurants, and that's where musicians make their money. That's where they can live out their art. And I think now that in South Africa, now that it's been lowered to level 2 of the lockdown, I think now it's crucial that you support the local artists more than just going on Apple Music or Spotify and downloading something. Go and see that person in action. See the sweat, hard tears and blood that went into creating that performance.
And that's also what this show is all about, right? We're going to feature some local artists, and you guys out there will be able to get into contact with those artists who come and perform at your venues. So all of you who have pubs, bars, restaurants, and that sort of thing. You want to help the local music, get them back into the swing of things, get them in front of people. Reach out to us. You're going to find the details to contact us in the show notes of the show. We'll also have it on Team Rock Media's website, and you guys can reach out to us, and we'll put you in contact with each one of the stars and bands that we featured on the show, right?
Yeah, I think it's great that there's also a platform that on podcasts that supports the local artists as well, so that we could attack this problem from every side. Mm-hmm. And there's been a lot of positive feedback from a lot of people during this time as well for the artists. There's big corporations and big high profile musicians. They pledge support to the independent music shops and all the artists, actors and fans and that. So there's been a lot of support, but I think maybe from the government side, there can be a much bigger contribution to the artists, because that's essentially what keeps you entertained in this uncertain times. Our eyes are stick onto the screen. So I think now that everything is easing a little bit out, that we can really, this is the time to support.
Yeah, that's definitely the case. It's like any other type of profession. They need that lifeline. They need to eat. They need to, and I think they need to perform. They're still out there. The music's out there. And funny enough, this time of difficulty, I was listening to, System of a Down the other day. And funny enough, being in lockdown and everything, their music kind of helped me cope with it, because I was starting to go crazy. Okay, I was literally starting to lose my mind, not being able to go where I need to go and stuff. And music kind of what kept me going. And so we owe a big thanks to these artists.
We really do. Yeah. And I think a lot of artists, like people like Franchoff and Coke, they've all attacked it from every side, especially with the streaming their own shows, and it really shows the audience that the artist is trying to connect with them even in these uncertain times, and letting them know it's okay, it's gonna be all right some other time, and we'll be back. And I think in this time it was important for the artists to reflect back a little bit and see how they can improve on their performance or how they do things.
Yeah, but to do that, they also need to get out there. And that's something why for me, what we're doing with Team Rock Media is such a big deal, because I know one of our plans is to actually have a feature page where you can actually watch the artists, the ones who haven't recognized, get them to send in some profile videos and stuff like that. I know one of the things we also spoke about was doing a digital concert. I wonder how they would go. I wonder how people would enjoy that sort of thing.
I really think people would enjoy it, and I think it's a good plan as well. So for the listeners, we are here to support you as well from Team Rock Media's side. So as soon as everything is up and running, please contact us so that we can definitely feature you on the channel.
Yeah, and send us a comment. Would you guys enjoy watching a digital concert? Would you pull in? Would you support the bands? I'm talking local music only. Those magic gems. I remember back in the day. Okay, I'm going to keep saying this, guys. I am old AF. Okay, but my mates and I used to go to this place in Cape Town called the London Town Pub, and at that pub, I watched bands like Tweak and Wonderboom play live. And for me, those were some of the best memories of my life. Okay. And they were just garage bands at the time, but it was amazing. So you guys let us know, would you support a band? Would you like to see a digital concert? Would you like Team Rock Media to get a bunch of local bands together and put on a kick-ass digital concert? Reach out, let us know. Details are in the show notes. Awesome. So here's another thing. Saddest thing ever. 2 days ago, I am in town going to buy some food and whatnot. I walked past a pawn shop and I saw 3 people there pawning instruments. It was the saddest thing I ever could have experienced in my life. And I asked one of my mates who works at the shop, I'm like, what's happening? He's like, that is the one primary thing that people are pawning, that and digital goods, What is happening with the world with the pandemic on the production of instruments? Because we spoke about the artists.
Yeah.
But there's a whole other part to this industry.
That's true. I was, the other day I went onto, I think it's Paul Bother. I was trying to buy a guitar. I haven't played in a while and trying